All right. Hello and welcome to this episode. So in today's episode, we're going to talk about anxiety, and I want to talk about the idea of viewing anxiety as a project, not a problem. And so I started thinking about this, and I was reading a book, and the guy talked about framing problems in life as projects, and it's an author named Richard Dotz. And it really got me thinking because I was like, he started when you frame something as a problem, what happens is that there's this emotional energy that we experience to then solve the problem. Where if you look at something like a project, then it's something that we're working on, and you can move at it with a certain lightness, because it's just a project, and you don't have these strenuous, like, I need to solve this right now. This is a project I'm working on. And so when you look at the idea of your mental health, your physical health, right, relationships, finances, right, all aspects of your life, really, but specifically today we're talking about anxiety. If you understood it as a project, meaning something that you are working on, something that you're improving on every day, it would take away a lot of the resistance that you have towards it. And the resistance to anxiety, again, is the biggest problem with anxiety. Anxiety is not a problem, right? You might be like, well, I disagree with you, Matt, right? And like, let me kind of elaborate a little bit then. If you see anxiety as a problem, right? And so I talk a lot about this, right? Um, when it comes to how we see something, it's going to determine what we do, which is going to determine our results. So a lot of people look at anxiety and we just assume it's a disorder, right? So let's tackle that idea first off. We just assume that anxiety is a disorder. But anxiety, and if that's true, then literally probably every single person in this world has this disorder. Now, is that true? Right? Is that accurate? And I would say no. Because if everyone has it, then it probably means, or it could be normal. Like, what if we flip the script there a little bit? It's like, well, if everyone has this, maybe it's a normal thing, right? Maybe it's a normal mechanism in our body. Now, if we are experiencing anxiety and we see it as a problem and we create resistance to it so we don't experience it, then what happens is that we start to bury it in our body, and it gets worse and worse and worse and worse. This is what happens with all safety behaviors. This is why I keep emphasizing, the idea of, like, you need to get rid of safety behaviors, right? Your compulsions, your safety behaviors. That is the issue. Because if you don't, what happens is the anxiety gets so intense and your life becomes so small that it creates a disorder in your life. So when someone says they have an anxiety disorder, it's not the presence of anxiety that's a disorder. It's that the anxiety is so prevalent in their body through their resistance to it, mind you. Or I'm doing so many behaviors not to feel anxiety that the side effect of those behaviors is creating disorder in my life. Right? So I'm having trouble at work. I'm having trouble sleeping. I'm having, problems in my relationship. I'm having, I can't drive. I can't leave my house, right? Fill in the blank. I'm washing my hands for 3 hours a day. Like these become the problems, right? So to speak. But even then, if we view that as a problem, then we start to try to, again, focus all our effort on changing the problem. So what I'm offering in this episode here is the idea of a reframe, right? A paradigm shift. Hey, let's challenge our entire view of this. Because if we call something a disorder, then we're going to view it as a problem, right? And if we view it as a problem, we're going to try to solve it. And anytime you try to solve anxiety, it doesn't work. It just doesn't. And yes, like, can you smoke a bunch of weed to make the anxiety go away every day? Yeah. Does that really help you? No. And anyone who's, like, really honest with themselves is gonna come to that conclusion. Same with any kind of pill you can take, right? should I just take something every day so I dull the feelings in my body? Like you can't sit with yourself and be honest and say, this is a good plan for the rest of my life. It might work today, but that doesn't mean it's a good plan for the rest of my life. And you know, what we're talking about, what restored minds, what we're talking about here is saying, okay, like, let's look at our long-term health. Like, let's really look at the long-term health. Like, I have an objective of long-term health in my life. That's my intention. What behaviors align with that? You know, like, what strategies align with that? And when we start to look at anxiety as a problem, we're going to hyper focus on it. We're going to try to solve it. We're going to engage in safety behaviors. We're going to do all this stuff. Versus if we shifted to the idea of anxiety as a project, meaning, hey, yeah, this is something that I'm experiencing a lot of right now. And yes, is it normal to be in a state of chronic anxiety? No, like, that's not a normal homeostatic function in your body, right? So like, there's a lot of energy in your body, but it can be worked through. It can be released. Your body can return to homeostasis. You can heal. And there's skills and tools to do that, right? Like, proven. It's demonstrated time and again in peer-reviewed studies. For those of you that feel like you need peer-reviewed studies, it's like ERP, ACT, right? Mindfulness, meditation, right? These things have shown to be effective. Even though I would argue that even the peer-reviewed study stuff is, well, I won't get into that right now. So when it comes to, if we viewed our anxiety, dare I say our mental health, our health, as just this project that we are working on, the thing that's going to happen is it's going to take the stress of this idea that it's a problem out of the equation, which I think is one of the biggest things that we can remove. And if we're like, hey, I have this project I'm working on. It's my mental health. It's my health, right? I'm a project. I'm a work in progress, right? It's like, and therefore, like, there's always work to be done, but I can enjoy the work. You can enjoy the work of this recovery process because you can come at it with a certain lightness and ease instead of this, I have this problem and I need to solve it and I need to solve it right now. That urgency that we bring into this, and I'm saying we as a collective, right? It's like, I've totally done this, right? So when you can bring in an easy frame of mind, an easy attitude, and so it's like, if you're having a lot of anxiety one day, instead of getting frustrated and beating yourself up, it's like, man, just bring an easiness into it. Okay, like, what's going on today? I wonder what I can apply today to really work with this, right? And in a relaxed state of mind, you're able to kind of, again, think more logically, think more clearly, as opposed to being so reactive. Because when we get reactive, that's what causes us to engage in safety behaviors more and compulsions more, that then fuels the cycle, right? And I always talk about understanding anxiety as a cycle, right, that we get caught in. And I just wanted to offer this simple concept today. Do you want to view anxiety as a problem or a project? And it's a choice. You have a choice. And you might be like, Matt, I'm viewing it as a problem because I want to, and I think that. Okay, cool. No worries. I did for a long time. Didn't really help me, right? So my hope is that by when I started changing my frame of mind at like the lower levels of like belief structures, right, and all that, stuff that I'm offering here in this episode, that was the building block that the tools then started to work on. See, because most of the time, what the real problem is that you're trying to apply the tools and you're trying to apply them from the wrong beliefs and the wrong perspectives. And so you don't see the results. Because it's the underneath work that once you change that, the tools make a lot more sense, become easier to apply, which then gives you better results. So hope that helps. And it's just food for thought today. Again, take everything I say with 8 grains of salt, as always. Because again, it's just an idea, right? But these ideas, I think, have really helped me and others, and so I want to share them, and in the hope that they may help you as well. We have a 3-day workshop coming up here in August. Really excited about it. And there's some links down in the notes where you can register early. And it is a paid workshop. There's a low fee for it, right? And so I just want to be transparent about that. And yeah, it's 3 days, so I'm going to be live. And I think we're going to be holding it through Zoom right now. We may do some kind of like streaming, but I think it's going to be through Zoom. And we're going to be covering things like beliefs, right? Belief structures and how to start working with those. We're going to be covering the AAA response. We're going to be covering, all the things that most people do wrong on this journey to recovery that really holds them back. So wanted to just let you know, kind of have you put that on your radar, because it's going to be in about a month from now, or maybe a little bit before. So there's some notes right down. You can head over to restoredminds.com to check it out as well. So I just wanted to make sure it was on your radar. And with that said, hope you guys have a great day and a great week. And I look forward to the next episode.